Yeah, program highlights, opening prayer. Welcome, Remarks Brian Paper Alexander. Remarks guest speaker, guitar demonstration, Kitten Martindale. Louis Jam, Willis Williams, and all musicians. Guitar salute finale. Don't let the sun go down on me. Come celebrate the life, music, and legacy of Freemus Dublin with an evening of reflection, performance, and unity. Bring your spirit, your love for music, and let's honor him together.
WEFM, the clean, fresh sound.
WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Activated Mornings on WeFM 99.9 is on now.
And we are back with you for another commentary segment here on our Activated Mornings program with Dianna and Roleza. And of course, with you as the listeners, it is an interactive program, so you can call us at 457-9997. All right. So I know we've been a little bit upbeat for most of the morning, well, all of the morning. And we're going to go into another topic right now that is not so upbeat, but it is a topic that we need to discuss. All right. We need to discuss because we need to discuss. All right. So we are asking the question, is mental health a priority topic in the Caribbean? Do you within yourself think that mental health is something that we prioritize within our own lives, or even as people of the Caribbean? And I would say, should I say Black people? No, let me not say Black people. But I'll tell you why later on. I'm not saying Black people, but of folks within the Caribbean. Now, not sure how many of you came across this information, but Miss Universe Jamaica, so Miss Universe Jamaica organization mourns the passing of a former contestant. And I'm reading this from the Jamaican Observer. So Miss Universe Jamaica organization says it's deeply saddened by the passing of Tyra Spalding, who was a beloved finalist in the 2000 and the 2023 station of its competition. The 26-year-old accountant was reportedly found on Tuesday evening at her home hanging from her bed frame with a pink curtain around her neck. The police are now probing a suspected case of suicide. In a statement on Thursday, the organization said that Tyra was more than a contestant. She was a vibrant, intelligent, and inspiring young woman whose grace and spirit touched everyone she met. It also extended condolences to her family and loved ones. And so the organization said, our thoughts and prayers are with them as we remember and honor her remarkable life and legacy. May she rest in eternal peace. Spalding, as in the person who passed, she was also reportedly an advocate for mental health and suicide prevention. All right. So we are going to hear in her own words. This is Miss Spalding. It seems like she probably did an interview with someone before. She was discussing her mental health, and she is going to, in her own words, explain what it was, well, at that time, what it was like that she was feeling.
Out and do something, because my mind is trying to kill me. And if I do nothing, I am going to die, guys. Every day I get up, my mind tells me to go and jump off a bit. It tells me to go and on pills. It tells me to go and hang. I am fighting for my health. Where do these thoughts come from? I don't know. I have no idea. They're my own thoughts, but do I want to be having them? No. Do I want to die? I mean, it would be easier, than having to deal with the ups and downs of life. But, boy, I don't know. But all I know is right now I'm fighting for my life.
All right, so that was Tara Spalding given some insights into how she was feeling at the time um, as she battled or she tried to cope with her own mental health. All right, so before we get into it, I see that we have somebody calling. All right. Hi, caller, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Star Radio. Good morning.
Good
It's
morning.
Star Radio.
No, it's
Good morning.
it's WEFM 99.9.
Joining together.
Not today.
I see.
Okay.
I want to get to see.
Okay. All right. All right. That call was an accident in terms of hanging up there. All right. All right. So now we're by no means going to pretend that we are counselors or anything of the sort, qualified persons to necessarily speak in full force on this topic, right? But we're just going to discuss it from our vantage point. And I would think that I would be in agreement that mental health is not prioritized within the Caribbean. I think that, and what I think is so interesting in the case of Miss Spalding, and I had to also remember that there was a former Miss, what was she? She was a former Miss USA, Chelsea Christ, who also committed suicide a few years ago. And when I look at them and I say, you might picture a particular individual succumbing to this type of mental illness, but these are not the faces that we tend to associate. These are not the type of persons because they look like they have everything going for them, right? Miss Chris in particular, she was very much out there, seemed to have a good career. She was very ambitious. She had certain degrees under her belt. I think she was also a lawyer at one point in time, right? I'm not saying that this necessarily makes her any, quote unquote, better than anybody else, but it means that she did have a lot of accomplishments under her belt. And despite having these accomplishments, something still was not okay with her or within her own life. And it's the same thing that we're seeing here with Miss Spalding, Tara Spalding. And it just concerns me that there are times when, for many of us, when we are going through what we're going through, that many persons don't try to open up to individuals because you don't know how somebody is going to perceive you. Number one, many persons don't want to be perceived as being weak, right? So we don't open up to other persons because we don't want for somebody to think that we are weak. We are, well, to use the word cry babies, or we don't know how to toughen up and suck it up and to push and to go on, right? So that is one of the things that is attached to, I think, many of us as Caribbean folks, in a sense, where we have to put up this facade. I'm not saying this for everybody, okay? Please, it's not for everybody. But many persons put up a facade as though they have it going on, everything on lock, and whatever their troubles are, they're going to keep to themselves. They don't think that it's necessary for them to share it with somebody else.
Yeah, a lot of persons as well. Some persons as well think they don't want to burden people with their problems, and they sometimes when you talk to people, because they don't know exactly what to say, they tend to make you feel worse, or they tend to make the situation worse. Because sometimes when people come with their problems, so to speak, or they come looking for advice, you hear things like, well, at least somebody else has it worse than you. Well, somebody else has it better than me. Hello. At least we're all in the same boat. We're not all in the same boat. We may all be in the same storm, right? Then there are the just pray and have faith, especially if you go to a Christian person, they believe that you could pray everything away. Well, some of them. And I was actually surprised and pleased the other day. I was in a session on mental health and psychosocial support, and the facilitator, or one of the facilitators, mentioned that praying, just telling people to just pray, as one of the things to not do when dealing with persons. And why I was surprised to hear him say that, as well as pleased, is because he's a Christian. He's a Christian man, and there he was saying to us, don't just tell people to pray things away, because that's not really, a proper solution, so to speak, for lack of better words. So you have those things as well. And no, I don't think that we take it seriously. We talk about it when we hear somebody commit suicide or somebody comes to us with our problems. We act as if we care, and we talk and we do this and we do that, and we have the fake sympathies. Oh, I wish you had talked to me, and I wish I could have helped. And if anybody needs anybody to talk to, here I am. But those are just words, and a lot of persons who are struggling recognize them as just being words, because sometimes when you do reach out to these people, the things they say and the things they do let you know that they're really interested in helping you. And sometimes we want to give people advice, or we want to help people based on how we would react. We don't take the time to learn about people and their problems and what would work for them. We like to give advice that we think would work for us, and mean that it should also work for everybody else. And there's no one size fit all, I think, when it comes to mental health. So some of those are the things that, again, I say I don't believe we take it seriously. We just tend to act out when we hear of something happening. We act as if we really want to help, but when not even 9 days, 9 hours, and we're gone back to regular programming, we don't talk about it again. We don't even pay attention to it. Or we hear somebody commit suicide online, and we have our sympathies. We express our sympathies and how bad we feel about it. But we have people right there in our lives who are going through things, who would show signs and who would even say it. But we don't study them. We tell them, oh, you just want attention, or just toughen up, or just shake off that, things like that. So I don't know what we're going to do about it. Some health professionals talk about it quite a bit, try to raise some awareness, but I don't think we're.
I think sometimes in a way that, okay, so when we talk about mental health, it's like,
look what is on the live, Nicole. Sorry.
I think one of the things, hi Nicole. I think one of the things that tends to happen as well is that it's like a catchphrase that is just thrown out there, right? So we throw the words around mental health without actually considering what it means, right? Employers might talk a good game about prioritizing. You should prioritize your mental health. There are things that some employers would say. They would say, oh, when it's your downtime, you take that time to yourself. There's the right to disconnect. That's an actual law in Ireland. I think it might be in the UK as well, generally. But there's the right to disconnect. But yet in your personal time, they are reaching out to you to do work-related things. So I think that in one instance, employers also, they talk the good game. But in terms of actually doing it, they don't realize that they too have a way of making situations or making things worse for their employees. And this is just one category that I'm speaking of, right? Because if I'm supposed to be enjoying my personal time, if I'm supposed to be enjoying my downtime, why are you calling me about a work-related matter? That could possibly wait, right? Why are you sending me an email, almost thinking that it needs to be addressed right away? So there are little things that can be done, even within our own families, right? Let's say a mother goes to her daughter a daughter goes to her mother. She's a married woman. And she's talking about what she's going through in this relationship. And the mother says, go back home and try to work it out without actually listening to what the daughter is saying, right? Because for some reason, there are persons who think that you have to toughen it out. Marriage is not going to be smooth sailing. And because it's not going to be smooth sailing, they send them right back without actually listening to what it is that the daughters are saying. All right. I'll finish it after. Kojo, good morning.
Good morning. I don't think people take mental health serious as it's supposed to be taken. I mean, even in the family, in the community, people tend to come up with their own diagnostic for the person problem. Or somebody put in soap, somebody do this to them. It's always, as I said, people don't like to take the blame or face things straight up. Somebody is going through a mental problem. That person really don't even know they're going through that problem. Some people might be conscious that they little off before they go real far. But to them, life is normal. They don't. It's one of those sicknesses the person himself doesn't feel pain or like that. So when somebody comes start talking to you about how they're feeling in themselves, I think you're starting to listen to them early. I mean, here, 75% of the people who's on the street in America here is mentally ill people. They don't have nowhere to go. They might go into the mental health hospital, which is very few of them now, because even right where I live here, they only have one mental hospital for millions of people. So you can imagine what's going on. As soon as you look good, they throw you back out on the street. And there's no real serious help for people with mental health problems. Some people could afford to go to therapists and get a little bit of reprieve from that little help. But how much people could pay for therapy? They don't take mental health serious in the world. A lot of people talk a big game for mental health. It's like cancer. They say they could cure cancer, but nobody seems so ready to cure cancer because the money needs to be made. So you say, and people use mental health people for all different reasons. Some people use them political, some people use them because they know they could get them to do work. Because a lot of people think because somebody is doing work for you, that they're not off,
Yeah.
People can be off and still function. I got here too.
Functional depression.
A doctor went to a mental. It might not be true, but I always like it because a mental health hospital and how somehow you end up with a flat tire and panicking, he kicked over the nuts in him in the gutter. So he did it wondering. And one of the what we consider crazy people in this thing, we look over and watch him laugh and he start laughing. He said, Doc, if you take one nut off of each of the other tires, you're going to have 3 of each and you're going to still go home. The man watching me say, "What I say you crazy, sir? I'm crazy, but I ain't stupid." Yeah, you understand, sir? So people, so I had to just call because I was writing it, but I wanted it to sound good. People tend to use mental health people and they don't believe when somebody is saying that they're not too right up in the head of it. Oh, yeah. I had there always has some way to make you feel like what you're saying is not true.
Yep.
And
it's all in your head.
Minimizing it.
And Dianna was saying, that doesn't help. That makes you worse.
Yeah.
Because now you don't take anybody there to help you. You don't want to talk to nobody anymore. Because the first set of people you went to, they put you down.
Yeah.
And right there you shut down.
Yeah.
With problems. And I hear saying Nicole is in the building. Tell Nicole that she can't just walk away from the program. You're done in the hearts of people. People miss you and you just disappear. So I have to inquire where you went. Yeah. So people tell me that you've been some kind of conference or something like that. We don't know that about that.
Oh, Lord.
She heard me?
She heard you. Well, she heard you.
All right. Tell her she can have this walk with me. All right.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Gojo. All right. All right. So let me just say one more thing, and then Dianna, you can continue. So I was given some examples of of persons. So you have employees. You have, let's say, a mother who is facing a particular challenge. And even in the case of children, I know that in many instances, you have teenagers who are trying to find their way in life. They're trying to find out who they are. And many times, as parents, as guardians, we are also dismissive of what it is that they're going through, right? Because parents always have this thing. I don't know if you say it, but parents always have this thing. The only thing you have to do is go to school and get good grades, and and that's it. Like that is all that is going on in their life. But they are maneuvering things such as relationships, and I'm talking about friendships, right? Yes, some of them might be dating, so that might also be another complication in their life. But You know, they're trying to figure out who they are as individuals, where they fit into this world, where they can possibly fit in. We know that peer pressure is a real situation, a real issue. They are not going to be faced with the same challenges that we were faced back then. Their challenges are going to be different, right? So when it is that we are dismissive of children, thinking that you don't have the kind of problems that I have as an adult, we too are trivializing what it is that they are going through.
Correct. I don't say that though, because I recognize that children do have stress. And I think I tell adults this at times, that children do have stress. And I try to listen to my child if let's say I want to send him to a particular shop and he's like, I feel like going to that shop today. I don't demand that you go to the shop just because I'm your mommy and I say you have to go. I would say, you know what, is there anything in the house that I can substitute, or perhaps something else that you could go for at a closer shop, or go to get at a closer shop, or whatever the case may be. But Coach Job, and you said it as well, there are a lot of persons with functioning depression. So people see them all bright and bubbly and doing everything they're supposed to do, doing their work and doing their work well too. And you assume all is well. Now, if you see somebody who is always laughing and joking, they're always the life of the party, they're at work, they're doing really well, and then you get to find out they're not doing well mentally, and they say that to you. The average person would think, what do you mean you ain't doing well? What are you talking about? And you there doing everything. Is attention you want? Because you seem to be doing everything else well. A lot of us don't understand that people can be out here just depressed, really, really depressed, but functioning well in society, doing everything that makes it look normal. Another issue, I think, with persons who try to give advice or try to help is they have this expectancy of when you should get better. Like if I say I'm not doing well and I come talk to Roleza, I expect that as soon as she don't talk to me, my mental health problems should be gone.
You know, I see that with people who are grieving. Like the people would be like, it's time for you to get over this. So
next week you see me and you want, but she's still entertaining me and don't talk to she and give she advice. It's not that easy. And then we live in a world that is hard to navigate. It's a very hard wall, and it also impacts people's mental health. So it's just continuing thing.
All right. So let me see. Can we take that call? All right, let's try, but the call would have to be like 2 minutes. Armin. Caller, you had like roughly a minute. We apologize.
Yeah, what?
A minute, 1 minute.
But what are the topic on the pan? It's a good topic, but why I think that Dianna, why you think that your parents win you from a baby? If you to fight and struggle on your own, you go drink breast milk all the time and say, well, okay, that is making the baby comfortable. You want to live in a world that spoil people. You want to live in a gym world that people live by remote control, by something like that.
So step in. You're going to make me go over this minute. Step in, hold on. So you have never found yourself in a position, whether as a child or as an adult, when you have needed the support of somebody else other than your mother?
But that is why I'm saying.
So no, so answer the question. Is it yes or no? No, so answer the question, yes or no. You have never needed the support of somebody else other than your mother?
Everybody needs support.
So what is he asking, Dianna? Exactly. So it's not the support only of your mother that you're going to get, but this is what we're talking about, support of other persons out there.
Yeah, but could so we're saying that when you have a problem, somebody has to solve your problem for you, right?
It's not necessarily a matter of solving the problem, but there are times when somebody just listening to us is also therapeutic. I am not expecting that if I'm going through financial troubles and I go and tell Dianna about it, that Dianna going to suddenly hand me $1 million. The point is that I am able to express what it is that I am going through. That in itself might be the bit of therapy that I need just to get my thoughts out there. Or even in the conversation with Dianna, she may then turn around and suggest certain things that I may not have considered.
Well, we're here to be every brother keeper. We're here to be one another keeper. But I don't find it as a position out there talking about all the talk to me all the song and I give that everything should be perfect. if you do this, if you do that.
But this is what
That's
we
how
are
it sounds to me.
acknowledging, that the world is not perfect, that life isn't going to be perfect. But the point is that many persons are dismissive of the fact that persons are going through things. And for this very reason, the same thing that you are talking about there is why it is many persons would keep things to themselves. Because if you're going to be turning around to me as an adult and asking me if I think life going to be perfect, then I now coming to you to try to get any sort of resolution to what my issue might be.
So you can't learn from your own mistake.
Let me ask you a question. You have any children? I don't know you. You have any children?
I have a child, yes.
So if your
But
child
two of them
comes,
one died.
if your child comes to you and say, "Daddy, I am feeling like killing myself because of some things I'm going through," what will you say to your child?
You feel like killing yourself?
Yeah, they say there's
Then
stress.
I'm gonna ask you, well, why you should become to the conclusion that you're killing yourself? I didn't teach you Bible and teach you how to pray and teach you how to trust God. How you could just drop all the guards so and come to me with that?
All right, step in. Step in.
According to the situation that she come to me with, I say go ahead and kill yourself. Because I find it foolishness for somebody. If you need to kill yourself, you need to save yourself.
Step in. You are exhibit A of exactly what we're talking about. All right. I'm not even trying to embarrass you or anything, but you are exactly
well,
what.
You embarrass me because
you are exactly exhibit A of what we're talking about.
From God, you have no child. Teach me with if where you go.
So suddenly when you become an adult, everything that your parents say is going to ensure that we have a perfect life, right?
No.
So when we don't have this perfect life, then what are we supposed to do?
I tell you, we each other keeper. And
so if we are each other's keeper, then if we are each other's,
every second, you have to live with a problem. You have to solve them by your own self.
So suck it up and keep it to yourself, right? That's what you're saying. Suck it up and keep it to yourself. And endure a nervous breakdown on account of not being able to talk about your problems, right? Oh, you gone? All right. All right. We are heading on out, folks. Yes. We are heading on out, right? And I know, you know what? Just before we head out, I don't want to leave on that note, right? Because as I said, this is exactly what it is that we have a problem with. My best advice, I'm not a counselor, I'm not pretending to be a counselor here, but my best advice is if you can find somebody who you can trust, who you can reach out to, who is going to be receptive of whatever it is that hearing you speak and even speak repeatedly on the same matter, reach out to that person. All right? We're not meant to be islands. We're not meant to carry our burdens by ourselves. But I do recognize that sometimes finding that person who we can lay our burdens on might be the challenge. All right. I could tell you what has worked for me. Now, I've never gotten to the point of thinking of committing suicide. I just know that I've gotten to a point of wanting my problems to end. All right. And what it is that has worked for me, I'm not necessarily saying it's going to work for everybody else, but I'm just saying what has worked for me is that I know that there is going to be some point in time when I'm going to get past this situation. So mentally, I tell myself, where am I going to be in 6 months' time? Where am I going to be a year from now? Where it is I'm going to be 2 years from now, right? I have that faith in knowing that things can possibly get better, and I am looking forward to it getting better. So when it means that I have to take the steps, whether it means possibly changing jobs, whether it means doing things that I love, whether it means cutting off individuals, whether it means taking more downtime to myself, these are the steps that I'm going to implement to ensure that 6 months, a year, 2 years from now, that I am going to be in a better frame of mind, a better state of mind. So that faith is what helps me to pull through whenever it is that I go through a rough patch. All right. So talk to somebody, folk. Talk to somebody. Okay. Talk to somebody.
I'm just gonna leave with that same advice. I wouldn't add anything to that for now.
Okay. And with that, we are heading on out, and we'll be back with more Activated Mornings here on WEFM.